The day I bought my first house, no one from my family showed up. No congratulations, no proud smiles, no "we're proud of you." But 4 days later, the police were knocking on my door because of them. And that's when I realized something I should have understood years ago. My family never wanted me to succeed. They just wanted me to pay for someone else's life. The mortgage office in Grand Rapids hummed quietly with the soft clatter of keyboards and the faint smell of fresh toner. Papers slid across a polished oak desk as the loan officer smiled warmly. "Jordan Michelle Ingram, congratulations on your first home." Her voice echoed slightly in the nearly empty room. I glanced toward the waiting area. Rows of vinyl chairs, all empty, no parents, no brother, no family, just my coworker Bailey, who raised her phone and snapped a quick photo. "Where's your family?" she asked with a small laugh. "Traffic." I forced a smile and nodded. "Yeah, probably running late." But deep down I already knew they weren't coming. That evening I returned to my apartment, dropped my keys on the counter, and checked my phone. One message waited. From Dad, not a congratulations. Not even a question about the house, just a demand. "Send $50,000 so Cole can buy a new car. Can't have him losing to you." I stared at the screen. After everything, every paycheck, every sacrifice. This was the first thing he had to say. I opened my banking app, transferred exactly $1. Then I added a note. For gas, I hit send. And in that moment, something inside me finally snapped into place. 10 minutes later, I was on the phone with a locksmith. An hour after that, he stood in my hallway, installing a brand new deadbolt. The metal lock clicked into place with a solid, final sound. For the first time in my life, a door actually belonged to me. 4 nights later, the red and blue glow of police lights flashed through my blinds. I had just pulled leftover pizza from the microwave when someone knocked on the door. Hard. I checked the peephole. 2 officers stood outside. I opened the door with the chain still latched. "Evening, ma'am," the taller officer said. "We received a welfare concern call from your father. He said you changed your locks and stopped answering him." I stepped back and unhooked the chain. "Come in." The apartment smelled like tomato sauce and cardboard boxes from my recent move. They glanced around. Clean counters. Stocked fridge. Laptop open beside my home closing documents. The shorter officer noticed the framed offer letter from the real estate firm where I worked. "Looks like you're doing all right," he said. I shrugged. "Just setting boundaries." They asked a few routine questions. Stress at work, health issues, recent problems. I kept my answers simple. "Busy schedule, new homeowner." The taller officer nodded slowly. "Your father sounded pretty worried." I almost laughed. "He's not worried about me," I said. "He's worried about losing control." The officers exchanged a glance. As they left, the shorter one paused at the door. "You'd be surprised how often this happens," he said. "People panic when control slips." The deadbolt clicked shut behind them. The apartment fell silent. And for the first time in years, the quiet felt peaceful. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind drifted back to when I was 16, working after school at a Subaru parts kiosk. The place smelled like motor oil and rubber. My cheap sneakers stuck slightly to the shop floor as fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. I stocked spark plugs, wiper blades, air filters. Every paycheck went straight into Mom's account, marked for Cole's expenses. Gaming consoles, designer jeans, a ridiculous light-up skateboard. Dad would pat my shoulder and say the same thing every time. "Family invests in the future." I believed him. I thought I was helping build something for all of us, but the future never included me. Cole's soccer cleats came before my textbooks. His Florida spring break replaced my SAT prep course. I worked double shifts while he played video games on the couch. "Thanks, sis," he'd mumble without even looking up. Dad never noticed the grease under my nails or the exhaustion in my face. To him, I was just the engine keeping the golden child's ride running smoothly. By 18, I finally saved enough to start community college. Night classes, online modules, anything that fit around work. Dad clapped me on the back. "Proud of you, kid." Then he added, Keep sending those checks. Cole's got potential. Potential meant racing entry fees, private coaching, and a never-ending stream of expensive hobbies. So I kept wiring money, telling myself it was temporary. I graduated with honors, got hired by a real estate firm, closed my first deal last month, and bought a small house on Maple Street, all with overtime, missed holidays, and years of saving. But when closing day arrived, no one came. The next morning, I opened my credit monitoring app while drinking coffee and froze. A new hard inquiry had appeared 3 days earlier. I tapped the details, an auto loan application, $50,000. My pulse started pounding. Primary borrower, Cole Ingram cosigner, Jordan Ingram my name. My social security number. My birthday. The dealership address matched my parents' house. Dad had used the documents I'd left in their safe years ago. He hadn't asked. He hadn't even warned me. He'd just stolen my identity. And that's when I realized the lock on my door wasn't enough. The moment I realized my father had taken out a $50,000 loan in my name, I knew two things. First, he thought I would never fight back. And second, he had no idea how carefully I kept records. I called the bank's fraud department immediately. Horizon Federal, this is Mark. How can I assist you? There's an auto loan on my credit report that I didn't authorize. I heard typing on the other end. Yes, ma'am. The application was submitted in person at our Breton Road branch. My stomach tightened. The co-signer is listed as Stephen Ingram, my father. Mark continued. The primary applicant presented identification and your social security number. He paused. Both signatures were completed in person. My father had walked into a bank, smiled at the teller, and forged my life away. Freeze the loan, I said, and send me the full application packet. Then I did something my father never expected. I called him. Michigan allows one-party recording, which meant I could legally record the conversation. The phone rang 4 times. Dad answered with TV noise blaring behind him. Finally decided to talk. Explain the auto loan in my name, I said. Silence. Then he laughed. Relax. It's just helping Cole build credit. My grip tightened on the phone. You forged my signature. It's an investment, he said casually. You're doing great with that new house. Share the wealth. His arrogance filled the line, as if stealing from me was perfectly normal. What's mine isn't yours, I said. Then I hung up. The recording stopped. 23 seconds, clear as day, evidence. I printed the bank documents, highlighted the forged signature, and placed everything in a manila folder. Saturday afternoon, I drove to the Subaru dealership where Cole planned to pick up his car. Dad's truck rolled into the lot 15 minutes later. Mom sat in the passenger seat. Cole climbed out of the back wearing sunglasses and a smug grin. Let's talk, I said. Dad tried to usher us toward the showroom. I shook my head. Here is fine. I opened the folder and spread the documents across the hood of his truck. Auto loan, $50,000, my name. Dad's jaw tightened. Misunderstanding. Mom quickly added, we'll pay it back. Cole scoffed. It's just a car, chill. I slid the application forward. With my social security number. Dad opened his mouth to argue, but before he could, I pressed play on my phone. His voice blasted across the parking lot. You're doing so well with that house. Share the wealth. Everything went silent. A salesman nearby stopped mid-sentence. Customers turned. Mom whispered urgently, turn it off. I didn't. Dad's face turned bright red. You recorded your father? I closed the folder. The bank will decide. Then I got in my car and drove away. 2 weeks later, Cole posted an Instagram photo, standing beside a blue WRX. Caption, 24 hours until pickup. He had no idea the loan had already been frozen. The next afternoon, officers arrived at the dealership with a bank representative. Customers watched as the paperwork was reviewed. Signature mismatches. Identity fraud, loan cancellation. Then the tow truck arrived. Cole's car never left the showroom. Videos hit social media that evening. Within hours, the clip had hundreds of thousands of views. And for the first time in my life, my father couldn't hide what he'd done. The bank filed a civil suit. Court lasted 8 minutes. The judge reviewed the documents, played the recording, then ruled in favor of the bank. Dad was responsible for the entire amount plus legal fees. His employer fired him the following week. Cole dropped out of college, started working night shifts scanning packages at a warehouse. Mom picked up overtime just to keep their house. Meanwhile, my life grew quieter, simpler, better. 6 months after buying my house, I hosted a small gathering. Coworkers, neighbors, people who actually celebrated my success. String lights hung across the patio. Music played softly. Bailey raised a drink and laughed. "You really did it." I looked around the house. The open rooms, the sunlight through the windows, the deadbolt mounted on the wall like a trophy. A reminder, not of revenge, but of boundaries. Later that night, I stepped onto the deck alone. The city lights shimmered in the distance. My phone rested quietly beside me. No messages, no demands, no guilt, just peace. And that's when I finally understood something. Family isn't the people who claim your success. It's the ones who stand beside you when you achieve it. And sometimes, the healthiest door you can close is the one that finally locks them out.